All right, so we are going to start today. Good morning, everyone, and good morning to those who are there on this call with us. Today, we are going to talk about a very, very important part of our life. In fact, this is something which we say that is so important to us that sometimes it decides the other part. Okay? So, we are going to talk about our life divided into three time zones: past, present, and future. And this very important aspect, which is time in our life. Okay. So I heartily and warmly welcome you to this Sunday class. Thank you so much for dialing in. Thank you so much for listening to this. Because this means that every Sunday you are planning to invest your time into something of improvement and development to you. Because this is an investment that you'll never get back. Or probably you will get back in terms of the resources that you will build. Okay, so the very first thing that I want to start by sharing is that this session is going to be about time. It is about understanding time, understanding how our memories and our mindset works with respect to time. And it is also about improving the quality of life in that time. What do I mean by that? See, our life is consisting of moments, of minutes, of seconds, of those instances that make life so memorable. But also it is the time that we spend in our life just thinking about stuff that has not happened, will not happen, that also kind of makes the quality of the life go down. So it is all about bringing more and more life to those moments, to those minutes, to those seconds, to milliseconds, so that we can understand and appreciate. Because at the end of the day, there is nothing called as time. Yeah, there is nothing called as hour or minute. How do you define that? You know, so there is this concept of clock which goes round and round and round, and we think that we have unlimited amount of time with us, but actually there is no time. All we have with us is now. All we have with us is the present moment, and in this present moment sometimes we go back in the past or we worry about the future. So today's NLP technique that we are going to share with you, or the NLP class that we are investing our time into, is all about mastering and understanding time and how we can rewire our association with this time. Okay. So moving ahead, yeah, this is one of my favorite pictures where people are worrying about things, worrying about problems in their life. So the whole point is that problem is not in past, but problem is in now, which means that any problem, any challenge that you have faced, sometimes you keep on thinking about something has happened in the past, but that's not the problem. Problem is we are still thinking about it. We are still putting our mental energy around it in the moment called now. And when we do that, we miss the opportunity and possibility of the present moment. So this is about focusing how best you can create possibilities in the moment called now. So it is from problem to possibilities. That is the frame with which we are looking in today's session. All right. So memory is about accessing, not memorizing. So throughout in our education system, there is a lot of focus on what do we memorize, how do we reproduce what we have memorized in the exam, how do we kind of, just mug it up and throw it back in the exam. It is about memorizing. However, there's a new concept that I want to share with the audience of this podcast, or to the students of this class, is that memory is not about memorizing. It is about how do you access that information, how do you access that resource, and what are the association of the memory that you have made with it. For example, when I say that, do you remember the Pythagoras theorem, let's say? Yeah. Now you go back and you're thinking, oh, who was Pythagoras? Maybe some people remember, some people don't remember. Some people go back to their class and they think, okay, Pythagoras theorem, maybe it has to do something with mathematics or something else. I don't know. So it takes a lot of time. At one point in time, we have memorized Pythagoras theorem. It was important to us. isn't it? But now, when I said that you remember, you're not able to remember it. So the point that I'm trying to make is that memory is not about memorizing, it is about accessing. So when I say access one happy memory which happened on your birthday, immediately you can think about your birthday, your happy memory, and that is where it all comes back in a flash. You think, okay, if I even say, just think of one of your best birthdays from the childhood. Immediately you go back to the childhood and you think, oh, this was my birthday and who all visited and my young friends that time. Maybe I don't remember the name, but those faces come right in front of us, just like, we are talking to them, or it was a matter of yesterday. So that memory is accessible. So the concept of memory that we'll be now utilizing in this session is not from the point of view of memorizing, but how do we access those memories? What is the meaning that we associate with them? How we can make them really, really powerful for us so that they can empower us back, or how some of the memories which are not working for us, we can just push them in the back burner. Yeah? This is what is there as a technique that we are going to share. Moving on, all you can see on the screen, maybe some people who like chess, they are looking at some of the pieces from the chess, the chess pieces, or for people it can also look like maybe it is part of a staircase, or pillars or something. But actually reality is a construction. you know for those of you who have a little bit creative bent of mind, who would like to see between the images, read between the lines, hear for the silence between the words, maybe they are able to see that there are 4 people in this image. Are you able to spot the 4 people? You can give me a thumbs up, the chat. So reality actually is a construction. Okay, if you pay close notice, if you definitely watch it closely, you'll be able to see that there are set of 2 people talking to each other. So reality in all what we are saying is a construction. It's a construction of space, time, matter, and energy. And this is where, out of space, time, matter, and energy, we are going to focus on time, because that concept of time doesn't exist. It's all in their mind. Some people, they say that there is a a chronological way of looking at things. Then there are ways in which we are, some cultures are especially more time oriented, like they are 5 minutes before the scheduled time. Some people, the time is that, okay, now means that I can even be there 10 minutes after the scheduled time. Okay, so that's about punctuality. But then how do we look at time? What is our relation? What is this concept of psychological time, and how we can change the timeline that we have? Okay. And one of my favorite quotes from the founders of NLP, his name is Dr. Richard Bandler. He said that you can know, not know, yet continue to learn, which means at times things may be a little bit confusing at the first glance. Confusion is the best state to learn. Okay. If you are not getting confused enough, knowing about NLP, knowing about any new thing that you are learning, that means that you're not progressing. Okay. Because anything worth doing, okay, starts with a total unknown, so it becomes a little bit of a creative chaos, and towards the end it becomes absolutely beautiful. Okay, so welcome once again to the Science of Mind Club. This time the theme of the mini series that we are doing, the 10 parts mini series, is Neuro-Linguistic Programming. We are right in the center of it, right in the middle of it, where this is our session 5. If you have not heard the previous 4 sessions, I encourage you to go back on the YouTube channel. There are recordings which are available, which will help you pick up the mindset and little bit of a skill set. And from this class onwards, we are going to focus on some of the techniques. Like in this 10-part mini series, we'll be sharing 5 techniques with you. Today is being the first one. So what is this all about? Science of Mind is a vision. It's a group of people, a community of leaders and coaches who are helping each other Every Sunday we catch up for 30 minutes or so, around 10 a.m. in the morning, Indian time, and we share concepts, ideas, techniques around psychology, NLP, and mindfulness. Like this time, we are sharing on neuro-linguistic programming. Totally pro bono, free initiative will always be like this so that you learn, you grow, and you continue to share and improve your life and others' life. That's right. If you're still curious, there is a book that I have put together. If you drop me your email, I can share this book with you, an ebook copy of it on your email, absolutely free of charge. There is a free Udemy course that I have put together called 21 Mind Hacks. You can go through it, and it is on the some of the well chosen points, insights, resources from the world of NLP psychology and mindfulness. Our intention is that people learn these topics, they apply it, because in today's world there is a lot of stress, there is a lot of um, I would say that people are facing a lot of issues, and for that matter, this knowledge is available right near us, around us. So our initiative is more about sharing this information. There is a website that also we have put together on Google Sites. You can just go through it, and the only thing that we want is people should stay curious. Just like somebody might have kind of shared this with you, you continue to share this with others, and you continue to emerge as leader and as a coach. So today is about time machine technique of neuro-linguistic programming. So if you realize, there was this movie sometime back called Back to Future. This was the time machine, the concept of time machine. Time machine was in form of a DeLorean car, and there was this doctor and one of his students. He used to travel back and forth in time. So we are going to do something similar today. This technique is also similar, and this time machine from the perspective of NLP is what we have to realize is it's very unique. It is what we are talking about. The concept of time is entirely and purely psychological. So we are talking about the time in the way how we are putting an experience into perspective, in a way how we are putting our mind into some of these ideas into perspective, how we are looking back at things, how we are visualizing things of the future. That is the mental time or the psychological time that we're thinking about. Definitely, time is the fourth dimension. What do I mean by that? There are three dimensions. We live in a 3D world. But as some of the astrophysicists or some of the quantum physicists, they have said that time is the fourth dimension, which is essentially true. Anything that has to be created in your mind, anything that has to be created in reality, starts from this whole idea of thought. You looking at things and then spending some time over it and just making it evolve. Yeah. A small larva becomes a caterpillar, becomes a cocoon, becomes a butterfly. It's just a matter of time. And that's the whole cycle of time that goes through. Okay. And if you look at time, time is something which we say that we have, and we have so much of it. This resource never ends. But actually, sometimes we are just running after time. Maybe you're running to catch a bus, catch a train, catch a flight. Sometimes an hour matters, a minute matters, or sometimes even a second matters. I remember when I used to be in these exams. Okay, you look at the question paper and you just tend to forget everything. And the more you tend to remember, the more you tend to forget. But in the last 5 minutes, when the examiner said that it's time to go back to your home and the test is about to be over in 5 minutes, that is where we realize that everything comes to us as a flash of memory in those 5 minutes. Okay, so Abhinav, Ajit, has it ever happened to you that in examinations, the first 5 minutes or the first half an hour you're struggling to look at the exam, and the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes, everything comes like a flashback? Happens with you? If it happens, you can give me a thumbs up. Yeah, ever happened? Yeah, thank you so much, Abhinav. Thank you for participating. So, friends, this is all about understanding that actually we are not interacting with time, we are interacting with ourselves. So what is this time all about? This time is just a part of us that we are interacting with. And what we can do is, many a times when we worry about the past, when we think that, oh, in my life this hasn't happened, not about that. It's about learning from the past, what we can learn from the past. It's about creating those future possibilities that we can look. And in NLP, we say that we look at things from three perspectives. First perspective is curiosity. The second perspective is experimentation. And the third is that how I can create excellence, something that we covered in the last class. How do we model excellence? So, curiosity and experimentation. How do I learn something from it? How do I become curious? How do we become a curious learner? How do I experiment? And how do I create excellence? This is what is about NLP. So let's go back and change time. So let me share this technique with you. So wherever you are sitting, for people who are listening to me on YouTube, or the people who are there dialed into the class, wherever you are sitting, just make yourself comfortable, put your feet on the ground, just loosen up, relax, and it's going to be a very, very delightful experience, very, very amazing experience of looking at things from a different perspective. Okay, so just relax, think of it like a very, very relaxing meditative kind of technique, because that's what it is. You know, it's about relooking in our past and changing meanings to some of these instances. So you think of any memory which was slightly negative to you, or let's say you think of any memory which has been painful to you in a way. Okay, and when I say painful, don't think of 9 or a 10, because there are certain pains in our life which can be called as a big trauma. I'm not talking about that, but something like a 6 or a 7. Let's say something which is painful, something which is maybe something that was a disappointment to you, maybe a failure, maybe a pain, maybe a fear that you have. And we are going to revisit that time, but we are going to revisit that time with the resources that you have in the future, okay? Or the resources that you have right now, because you have survived it, isn't it? All that pain, all that fear, all that challenges, you have survived, and you have reached this moment in your life, which means that you are a winner, you are a leader, you are already a person who has risen above those challenges in your life. That means that you are definitely more mature than the time which it was there, and you definitely have some wisdom that can be shared with this person. For example, like in this movie, Back to the Future, the person who is aware of the future, he comes back and he shares certain things with the person of the present. With that, the entire timeline changed. Or the person from the present goes back in the past and gives help to people who are struggling. Okay. Or the more recent example, and maybe you are not a fan of sci-fi, but you are a fan of a Marvel kind of a genre. Then recent, there was this Spider-Man movie where Spider-Man is getting stuck. He doesn't know what to do. So when he was thinking about it, a portal opens, and voila, what do we have here? We have a Spider-Man from another multiverse coming. Okay, so here the only difference is that you are the one who's going to revisit that timeline, who's going to revisit that moment in time. Okay, and when you do that, just start with the number. Okay, so if you think of that pain, if you think of that negative moment, if you think of that failure, I want you to just think of it, see what you have seen, feel what you have felt, hear what you have heard. And when you are in that moment thinking about that, how do you feel on a scale of 0 to 10? 10 being definitely very bad, 0 being nothing at all. Give me a number. Give me a number. Yeah. 5. How do you feel? 5, 4, 3, or 7, or 8? Just key in that number. How do you feel as a person when you look at that experience? Now, for people who are listening on YouTube, they can definitely do it with us. That's a very amazing technique to kind of rewire some of these memories. I also can see some of the chat. 6, thank you so much. So when you think of that, let's do one thing. wherever you're sitting, just sit back, relax, close your eyes. Yeah. And I want you to focus on your breathing and just relax. Now, whatever I say, just use your creative imagination. Because in a moment, we are going to travel back in time. This chair or wherever you are sitting, maybe you're sitting on a chair, maybe you're sitting on a sofa, maybe you're just sitting on your bed. And you can do this anywhere where it is absolutely comfortable, where you are aware of the surroundings. You should not be driving, or you should not be, in any kind of a travel where you are driving, but then you can be sitting in a relaxed space. You can just close your eyes, relax, just focus on your breathing, and whatever I say now, you're going to imagine that in your body, in your mind, in your every cellular, molecular, neurological level of your reality. And we are going to see, feel, and hear what we have felt during all this time. Okay, the chair in which you're sitting is now the time machine, or wherever you're sitting. Just imagine that you are in a time machine. And in a moment when I say now, that time machine will go back in the time where the time doesn't exist. You will remember the problem. You're going to that time where you had that experience. But you will go there with all your intelligence. You'll go there with all your wisdom and insight. That's right. Okay. Whenever you're ready, you can do a countdown. And we can push that button on the time machine to go back and revisit that time. 5. Link in that time machine chair. 4. Feeling all the more relaxed. 3. Looking at the wisdom, looking at the insight, looking at the knowledge that you have with you, which you're going to carry. 2. Look at that button which is going to take your time machine back in time. And 1. Press that button, and now you're going to a space where time doesn't exist. And from this space, we are going to land to the time where you faced that challenge, that failure, that pain, that fear, or that negative memory. Okay, and just like a portal opens, let that door open in front of you. You can see yourself, the younger you, which is in that situation. What this younger you doesn't realize is that he or she has survived this entire situation. But this younger you doesn't realize is that there is a higher self that can come in this time machine and can help him or her. And what this younger you doesn't realize is that that's not the end of the story. Because the story is not complete till the time we win, till the time we learn. You have done wonderfully all these years surviving this story, living this story, championing this story. And now we have come to this point where you are looking at you, the younger you, and let the younger you understand that you are there to help. Like Spider-Man reaches from another realm and he shares his powers. You are here to help this younger you. You can wave your hand and drop down besides that younger you with all your understanding, all your wisdom, all your knowledge that you're carrying, and let the younger you know that he or she has survived it. He or she has survived that failure, survived that fear, survived that pain. And you can give that assurance, give that comforting space that yes, things are going to be okay. There is definitely the light at the end of the tunnel. And you can share the joy the excitement, and the adventures that this younger you is going to find in the future. And you can share that the journey ahead, the trip ahead is going to be absolutely exciting, absolutely marvelous. And he or she can look forward for amazing, amazing adventures, greater glories, greater joy, happiness in the life to come. And you can wait for those times in your life, no matter how bad it seems currently, the younger you can look forward for those times with the excited anticipation of a young child waiting for his birthday, waiting to unwrap the presents that he's going to get for Christmas. Okay? So let the younger you reevaluate, recapture, repurpose this sense of time and space. That time is not constant. Somebody asked a wise man to share one thing that gives greatest joy and the same statement that gives greatest sadness. And the wise man replied, "This too shall pass." So let the younger you remember that even if it is the toughest time, this shall pass. Even if it is the most wonderful time, this too shall pass. Remember that who you are and who you are with. The little moments matter. The little moments of light matters. The joy matters. The joy you spread, the light you spread. Okay. So share that positivity, that warmth with your younger you, that wisdom with the younger you, and let that younger you enjoy that freedom that it brings with this kind of a message from a more evolved version of himself or herself. Let them keep that change and let go of the emotion. Let go of the emotion. Ask them to remember the learning in that pain, in that challenge, in that fear, and let go of the emotion. And let them know that it could be a fantasy where they can even go ahead in time and imagine a very powerful, positive, and impactful future that they can create for themselves. Yeah. And when you have shared those learnings, where you have shared that positivity with the younger you, it's time to go back. Maybe you can give them a hug because you know that they are going to come out of it. You know that they are going to come out of it as a winner. And you go back to that time machine, that chair, that sofa, that bed. You can wave goodbye to your younger self. Just look at their smile. Remember, this experience is something that they will treasure with themselves, and they'll let go of the emotion, let go of the pain, and they'll remember the learning. Whenever you're ready, you can sit back in the time machine and you can press the button. That's right. Doing wonderful. And you're coming back to the future. And whenever you are ready, I'll just count down from 5 to 1 and you can open your eyes and be back in the zone. 5, remembering this wonderful experience, remembering all the positivity you shared with your younger self. 4, thinking of time as something that you can master with your positive mind, with your mastermind. 3, thinking of all the possibilities you can create in the current moment and in now. 2, feeling that energy giving oxygen, giving you all the more energy, all the more positivity. And 1, open your eyes back in the room, back in the Zoom. So, how do you feel after revisiting your younger self and sharing your wisdom? How wonderful you feel? And the question that I asked initially, on the scale of 0 to 10, if you think about that experience again, what is the number that comes to your mind? 10 being absolutely terrible, 0 being nothing at all. Okay? You will be surprised. Just give, okay? Now this experience of negativity which you thought of in the earlier, the one that you have revisited. Okay, when you went back and when you shared your wisdom with your younger self, has this improved? Yes, no, maybe. Has your association with this negative experience improved? Yes. Thank you so much. So, friends, the time is now. We don't have to wait for our entire life for something to heal. We can heal ourselves. We can heal our past. Sometimes we don't think about the possibilities that we can create in the present moment or in the future. Let's say you're going to office and you are in your car or in your bike, and somewhere some guy comes and he gives a dent to your car. That's not the end of the journey, isn't it? You can get that repaired and you can still move ahead on your way. Maybe the next year you are buying a new car. Maybe the next year you're getting a promotion. But if you get stuck on the way, that's not the end of the story. Okay, so you definitely can think of the better times. You definitely can think of the resources that you have to relook and heal your experiences. And this is one of the techniques of neuro-linguistic programming called time machine, which can help us relook things from the present perspective of higher wisdom and higher self. This is what I wanted to share with you. And the key message here is that no matter how dark it seems currently or in the past, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. Okay. So I'll take a pause here. If at all there are certain questions, I'll be happy to answer them. This is a learning that we all invest our time into. Feel free to share this technique with others. What you have with you is also the recording that I'll be sharing on my YouTube channel, and you can just go through the similar kind of a process. It's very simple. It's a no-brainer, and definitely, you help the person look at a negative experience with the higher intelligence, with the higher positive thinking that he has in the current frame of mind. So that's all what I have for you. Thank you so much for your patient listening. I'll take a pause here. If you have a question, I can answer that. If you want me to work one-on-one with you, there is a number which is there on this flyer that I have created. I'll be more than happy to help you get out of some sort of a pain, fear, anxiety. This is just one of the techniques. There are more techniques we can do it, and it is definitely more customized to the person who's facing a problem. This is pro bono coaching, so Saturday, Sundays, I block some time for you, and if you have any of the issue like related to habit, related to pain, related to fear and anxiety, or just working towards your goals, as a performance coach, I can help you do that. So feel free to reach out. Okay. And I'll take a pause. If there are any questions, Ajit, Abhinav, any questions you have, I would love to answer. You can either unmute or you can also use the chat window. Okay. All right, no questions currently. That's absolutely fine. So thank you so much for your time. It was wonderful having you on this Sunday class. And for all those who are listening, thank you so much for investing your time for your growth. Continue listening, continue attending this, continue improving yourself and becoming a better version. Soon, somewhere around Christmas, I will be sharing with you some of the interviews that I have started doing for these mentors of mine or these coaches who are very well established, or some of the industry experts in the areas of mindfulness, NLP, psychology, hypnotherapy, change management. All of these experts I have already started reaching out to, and as my promise, which I made on the 100th video of our YouTube channel, that I'll be sharing all these resources with you. So sooner, somewhere around Christmas, you will be finding these videos on the YouTube where you will be able to benefit from the discussion that we had during those sessions. Okay, so thank you so much for your time. I wish you a wonderful Sunday ahead. All the very best, and looking forward to connect with you in the next class. See you next time. Bye bye.